I even begin with this one? Okay, Drakengard 2 is a thing that exists. It's not Drakengard though. I mean, it looks like Drakengard, plays like Drakengard, hell, it even smells like Drakengard, but it doesn't feel like Drakengard. Concerns were immediately set off at a young age when I looked at the front cover. Oh no. At least this means the video will be a little bit more lighthearted, right? What's interesting about this is how Square Enix published the game in Japan and Ubisoft published it in North America and Europe. So what happened there? Now this isn't to say that the game is inherently bad, and I'm always ready to give credit where credit is due. It's not a horrible game by any means, and I'd go as far to say I love some of the things they included, which really flesh out the universe a bit more. It's just a shame they decided to play it as safe as they could to make it appeal to as many people as possible, and even put Yoko Taro on the sidelines, though his creative input still made it into the game at some points. Instead, the game was directed by Akira Yasui, who directed such other classics like...
Where the video game?
Was this game a successful directorial debut? Not really. It doesn't really feel like it's based in the same world, going from a bleak, depressing landscape to a mediocre fantasy land with blue skies and colourful environments. You know, for the most part. On that note, the soundtrack they decided to stick with is a huge shift from the original game's OST. Now the soundtrack to Drakengard 1 isn't exactly something you'd call a tasty jam or anything you'd pick up ladies and gents at the club to, but it fit the tone perfectly. And other than a few select tracks, the Drakengard 2 soundtrack kinda sums up a majority of the game for me. It's just kinda there, going on in the background. An easy way for me to describe my feelings towards these two games is this. Drakengard 1 is tonally very similar to the Berserk manga/anime. Drakengard 2 kind of feels like Peter Jackson's Hobbit films. It may be a good or bad thing depending on your preferences. So let's dig in, and hopefully I can articulate my opinions about why this was such a disappointment without coming across as someone who loves to rip into a game for shits and giggles. Just because I wasn't a huge fan of the game doesn't mean if you like or love the game, your opinions mean any less. This is purely my viewpoint and it shouldn't be taken as anything other than that. The game begins and we're delivered some exposition loosely explaining the events of Drakengard 1. If you want to know more about what happens in that game, click this link and check out a video I made explaining the whole thing. It's 18 years after Angela sacrificed herself to become the next seal, and despite them showing clips from this ending, it's been confirmed that Drakengard 2 takes place in a timeline very similar to the events of Ending A. Why didn't they make it a continuation from Ending A? Fuck if I know. It's here that we're introduced to our main character, Noe, and his childhood friend Eris. One of the interesting things the first game did was take away the main character's voice. It allowed us to read what Kain was thinking by listening to Angelus or watching his facial expressions in cutscenes. And before people misunderstand what I'm saying, I don't have a problem with characters having voices in games. It just works very well for Drakengard. So when I heard this...
Eris, what's the point of the royal jewels anyway? Why waste time fighting with our allies?
I was a little disappointed. This is a nitpick, and Noe having a voice wouldn't be a bad thing if they wrote a good script and directed their voice actors better. Noe has the insufferable ability to ask questions non-stop because the players are too stupid to guess things for themselves. Begin montage.
Is this a district? What's this? Eris, what's going on? What do the people have to do with the key? But why? What are the districts anyway? Is this one of the lieutenants who guards the districts? What's it like in the district of Soul Flame? Is that the district of Soul Flame?
After going through a tutorial teaching us all of the new gameplay mechanics, such as the ability to launch enemies with your sword or being able to recover mid-fall, which is a pretty neat inclusion, we're introduced to the Knights of the Seal, or more specifically the current leader, General Gizmor. Gizmor was the next general after Noe's adoptive father, Auron, was killed by a one-eyed man in the field of battle. So Gizmo is all 1v1 me fucking noob and we promptly wreck his shit, causing him to summon a whole platoon of soldiers for us to fight.
Is he gonna be the baddie?
Come on, what do you think?
Well done, Noe!
Hierarch Sere.
In the arms of the angel, fly away.
Oh, of course you had to be in it!
There's no one left in our village. You have become a formidable swordsman.
What? Is an American accent not good enough now that you're the hierarch? What would George Washington say? Let's take a minute to talk about these cutscenes. I have a hard time calling them that. Can I just call them screenshots? What I find really puzzling is in some scenes they're moving freely, but then in others they're so stiff you'd think it's a still image. But it's not, as the next scene shows. So they just left the models completely stationary. If this was for budgetary reasons, I'd understand it, but if it wasn't, then was it a stylistic choice, or was it plain lazy? Did most of the budget go on the fucking sparks, cause they look pretty good. Gold star. Now what would a Drakengard game be without a dragon Dragon. This CG cutscene introduces us to the sequel's dragon, Legna, Noe's original adoptive parent by circumstance and guardian. There's something I'm noticing about your name there, buddy. Kinda looks like you spell angel backwards. Oh, that is what you did! Legna's pretty great. He's one part of a game that kept me smiling because his dialogue is fun and whoever they got to voice him does a fantastic job, which reinforces my idea that good voice acting can make or break a character. He shares similar characteristics to Angelus in that he's a proud member of his race who holds himself higher than the other natives on Midgard. So now we have Legna, we can experience the aerial combat. At first glance it's the same as Drakengard 1, but if you start to look a bit closer, something has changed. Something very important. They removed the weight. Controlling Legna is comparable to a paper aeroplane. As you can see here, his movements are very sharp, which can make controlling him a teensy bit disorientating. They had the dragon movements sorted in the original, why did they decide to do this? Ground combat with the dragon has improved immensely. In the original you could only fly on a set height, which didn't really make that much sense, but in the second you can go fucking everywhere. You can also go into first person mode, which makes shooting scattered enemies much easier. Angelus's widespread fire attack has been replaced with overdrives, which trigger a small cutscene where Legna tears up house and causes a bit of a mess. We meet back up with Eris and gain her as a playable character. The companion system is necessary in Drakengard 2, as Noe can only wield swords, Eris can only wield spears, etc, so on. Some enemies are only weak to spear attacks, so changing to the other characters is basically necessary to progress unless you like slogging through a boring HP bar for a minute or two. After destroying the monsters, we get to the district. Within the districts are the keys, which are put in place in order to protect the surrounding lands and are split up into 5 different places around the world. Each one of these keys are protected by a pack partner. However, the guardian of this district is missing. I wonder if that'll come into play later. This crusty old bugger wants to be let out of a jail cell he's contained in, but Eris explains that he's a remnant of the old empire, who are now being punished for almost ending the world 18 years ago and are now being used as sacrifices whose lives are slowly being drained to protect the districts. Noe still questions this because we, the player, need to know that he's such a good guy, even if they pinch our nose and force it down our throat. Returning to the Knights of the Seal gives us an intro to 3 important characters, the Guardians. We have Danny DeVito, Tomoko, and Seymour Guardo.
Sir Zangpo, you would do well to follow orders.
Lady Yuna, the Aeons. Well, goodness me, there's some issues down at the district of Soulflame. Guess it's time to take its guardian, Danny DeVito, with us and see what all the ruckus is about.
You're late for the party, children. I hope you weren't loitering.
Which reinforces my idea that good voice acting can make or break a character.
But we have to get inside and make sure the key is safe. Right, you lot, go on ahead and be quick about it.
What? You want us to go in there? Walk through the fog? Oh no!
But the war with the Empire was years ago. We can't keep punishing them.
Please wait.
Lady Mana. It's Lady Mana. It's her. Lady Mana. It's Lady Mana.
Mana, the little girl from the first game, is back, and the 18 years have matured her like fine wine. In Drakengard 2, she's trying to repent for the sin she committed 18 years ago by freeing the peasants who are slaves to the districts and their guardians. She believes by doing so, it'll bring peace and equality to the land, but, you know, she could at least attempt to sound a little excited by this.
I have some knowledge of the black magic arts. A one-eyed man. No. Help me.
Storm the gate!
All right.
Mana and Zangpo have a little fight, and Mana taunts him over his pack price, his ability to eat. Zangpo ends up losing despite having Ifrit as a fucking pack partner who never bothered to show up, I'm guessing because it was cut from the final game. As the key is destroyed, Zangpo is destroyed with it. A guardian has their life bound to the key, which makes protecting it personal.
Damn! Do I really have to go?
Oh no, you can stay, not like your life is in danger or anything, you chuckle fuck. Mana decides to have a little sleepy, so the knights capture her and promptly send her to be executed.
Do you have any final words?
You fucking bitch!
Incredible. Incredible! Mana manages to break free and some of the peasants attempt to free her by airship, but we shoot her down with Legna. Whilst we're away chasing Mana, something completely unsurprising happens as the game shows us Gizmo planning to get rid of Noe, just like he did his adoptive father, Auron. Noe accepts an invitation to meet with Gizmo out of a false pretense of having a cheeky drink, but instead of gulping down a nice glass of wine, he chugs down some high quality poison. So this is where the actual plot starts to kick in. Noe has been branded a traitor by the Knights for brutally attacking Gizmo and tries to escape to Legna for a quick getaway.
Noe, turn yourself in. You have a chance to be charged for a lesser crime.
I'm sorry, Eris. No, I won't go back.
Tell her you were poisoned by Gizmo.
Goodbye, Eris.
Ugh.
What's all the fuss, my boy? What have you done?
Legna, I can't stay here anymore. We have to fly. Fly far away.
I wasn't planning on eloping with you just yet.
Anyways, I'm gonna fast forward past a ton of filler and drop us off where Noe escapes with Legna to her old home in the mountains, which is where Legna first found Noe, alone and feral. Oh yeah, Legna changed forms. What the hell's going on there? They arrived, but the Knights predicted they would escape there for safety and ambushed them.
This way.
But who is that mind-numbingly bland voice I hear? Why, it's Mana who's come to save the day.
That woman. She's taken Noe. You saved my life.
You saved mine.
Shut up and let's go.
So Mana joins the party and she's going to be your main magic user during your playthrough. Each of her weapons have unique spells just like how Kaim's weapon did in the original, and instead of side rolling to avoid damage, she does a little cartwheel. I'm embarrassed to admit how much fun I had with this. Mana introduces Noe to a town who has suffered under the Knights to open his eyes a little about the suffering of the people.
Open your eyes, my beautiful child.
Hey listen, Mum, ooh, I'm just fucking with you. Can I call you Mum? Okay, I died for a reason, bad genetics runs in the family and everything. See you later, peace! Noe decides to tag along with Mana and becomes a freedom fighter because why not? This time they head to the district of Hollowed Water and come face to face with its guardian, Hunch. Hunch used to be a child loved by all who met her and had a smile brighter than the sun. However, one time whilst out on a lake with her friends, her boat capsized, almost drowning her in the process. She was forced to make a pact with a Kelpie, sacrificing her charm in the process, meaning that no one would approach her voluntarily. So I guess it's really not her fault she isn't popular. The game makes it out that she's an unattractive creep, but going by the official art, I don't know. Maybe I have bad taste. Hunch lets it slip that she was the one who had the idea to poison Noe and Auron. Noe gets understandably flustered about this and fights her to the death.
Tasted funny, did it?
Made your head spin, did it?
Oh, hello, Harry. Long time no see.
Maybe I'm an idiot, but as you can see here, I had no idea I could use Legna during this fight. I must have died about 3 times finding this out.
It hurts. I'm finished. I'm done for. But I don't want to die. No. It never used to be like this. I used to be so happy. Everyone loved me. What happened? Storm. The darkness. It's coming to swallow me up.
What's this? Am I feeling some kind of empathy towards a seemingly evil character? Am I feeling sad right now? This is Drakengard, it is still in there somewhere. Hunch dies miserably and the key to the district is destroyed, allowing the rivers in the land to flow again. Before they have the chance to fly to the next one, they're interrupted by Eris.
All I know right now is that I can never go back to the Knights of the Seal. Never.
You commit one crime after another. But why?
Tell her you were poisoned by Gizmo, you fucking idiot! The duo are now in search for a member of the Knights who abandoned the Order a long time ago to help them in their journey. They are told to go to the city of Rust where the man was last seen. When they get to the city, Noe wanders around the empty streets asking for information. If you ever return to the city on a free mission, you can hear some interesting dialogue, including some information regarding a former character we once knew.
Some time ago, can't recall when exactly, a blind man came to this town, but he acted really strangely around the kids in the town.
He got surprised! He got surprised!
After finding themselves in quite the pickle with a few bounty hunters, a masked man drops in out of nowhere to save them. He flashes them, but I guess the sight of his monster cock was enough to scare them away because they flee with their tails between their legs.
Can't argue with that.
Oh, I was kind of expecting his face to be a big reveal, but I guess not. What the hell. This is our new companion and axe user, Yurik. Once a member of the Knights and was a close friend to Noe and Eris. He warns the party to make a fast retreat due to the Knights sending more forces and the appearance of a one-eyed man, who, if you've forgotten, was the one who killed General Auron when he was poisoned. And now, it's at this point in the game where things start getting interesting. The group are blocked by a large group of Knights when suddenly... Who's that?
Oh shit!
Who could that be?
Oh shit! Damn!
Yeah!
Damn! Damn!
It's my...
Holy shit!
It's my boy!
They even made it bassy too.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Dude, Kime Guts is like the best guts. Yeah, he's really enjoying himself. That was sick. That was actually pretty fucking cool.
The entire build-up.
Help me.
She sounds so lackluster. Hey everyone, thanks for being so patient whilst I was working on this. I never intended it to be split into 2 parts, but if I want to continue giving you consistent content and improve my quality over time, I think this is the best idea. Thank you so much for the support, and please share this with anyone who you think might enjoy it. See you all in part 2.
I carry these memories inside, thoughts of a soul, colored by love. See me grow wings and fly high, passions will die. Tell me who, I burn in the base and the fire, watchers